mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you may be in the world today, and welcome to our latest Zebra DevTalks. We wanted to welcome all of you today to the Card Printer Software Developer Tools DevTalk, and we'll get started with that in just a moment. Just wanted to go over some house rules and give you some information here today so you're all up to speed on it. First of all, the first slide that you're seeing there is telling you a little bit about our upcoming DevTalks and our Dev Podcasts, which you can now subscribe to through iTunes and the Google Play Store. If you'd like to get any of that information, you'd like to be part of our community, please go to developer.zebra.com, and there you're seeing our community page. You'll see upcoming events. For instance, we have our Zebra Dev podcast that we've posted on our SoundCloud channel, Enable Informed Decision Making with Stay Linked and Zebra, and you'll find a variety of other podcasts. Also, our next Dev Talk, if you'd like to register for that, is coming up on Wednesday, June 20th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be talking a little bit about securing your device. And if you'd like to be part of our community and receive news and updates, we actually have a DevBuzz newsletter that comes out on a monthly basis, providing you the latest tech trends and news and all things Zebra for developers. Please don't miss that next step Dev Talk as well. You can go to developer.zebra.com and there's a welcome screen, and you can provide us your email verification. Just let us know who you are and we'll send you some news. And you'll keep up to speed on all of our events. And with that, I'm going to turn this presentation over to Manuel and his team for our card printer developer software tools.
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning, everybody. So today we will be talking about our new developer tools for card printing. With me, I have the gurus of this printer development project. So I have James Kimball, who was working on all of the stages of the project in all of the environments, Java, C#, and also Android. I have Mike Ringgold, who was the leader of the project. And also I have Wayne Clark, who was the person who helped us to develop the SmartCard sample code and all of the related with the SmartCard portion of the development. So welcome to this webinar, and my expectation is you can enjoy it. And also at the end, we will be receiving your questions. So hope all of the team will be answered your questions. I have the best team here with me. So I hope all of the questions can be answered, or most of them. Questions that don't answer, we will be responding those through our developer portal in the future. Okay, let's start it. So what is the agenda for today? We will be covered basically what is our actual status of the Card Printer SDK. We will be reviewing the new SDKs. We will be going through, we will reviewing the SmartCard encoding with the new CC300 printer. Then we want to go through a quick walkthrough to the sample code. To the end, we will be reviewing the questions and answers. So let's start it. So basically, this is the our tool right now to cover all of the products for the card printing. So from the top to the bottom, we have the this new printer CC100, CC300, and CC350 with our CSP1 and 3. Also, we have the CSP7, the CSP9, and the CC10L. You don't see the CC10L here. It's done in purpose because we recommend to developers to work with the Java, with the driver for the CC10L. But for specific projects, if a developer needs to work with the CC10L and use our the developer SDK that we have, let us know. We just qualify those requirements specifically. So for the new SDK that we have on top, we only on the right side just you see what have been tested. Doesn't mean that doesn't work with the other printer, but only with the printer that was tested. So the latest one, that's basically that we released 1 month ago by May 11, We released the new Java SDK, C#, Android, and basically was tested for the new printers. For the other portion, CSP Series 1 and CSP Series 3, we still keep the C++ Windows version. For the CSP Series 8, 9, and 7, we have also the C++ version for that. For the legacy printers too, we still have the C++ version of that, but it's already discontinued, no more supported, but just for information purpose. Okay, so this is basically our ecosystem printer-based printer solution. On your left side, basically you see a high-level architecture. On top, you will see the customer application, and our SDK basically focus in three basic operations on that development. So we help to build the image object operation. We help with encoding operations, and also we help with the printing. Basically, the most important thing, we help with the printing operations. The printing operations can be done in two different ways. You can use our Zebra driver, or you can go through the Zebra Printer Card SDK. It depends on how is your use case and how you are implementing those things. For the printing operations, basically we provide bidirectional communication through Ethernet, Wi-Fi, USB. Also, we provide the way that you can set up the printer, you can modify the settings, and also you will be controlling the job operation of the printing. For encoding operations, we provide full magnetic encoding libraries, but for Smartcards, we only provide some methods that you can position the card to be encoded. For image operations, we help, we provide the tools that the classes that you will need to work and build the image based on the ribbon layers. I'm going to explain those things later. Okay. With this presentation, I want to solve basically three questions. The first one is what we have done the last year. The second thing is where is this located, and the third thing, how to use it. So for the second portion of this, where is located. So you can find the location of this on you will have this slide to the end, but in this link, you will be able to go to this web page. On this web page, you will have a form. You fill it out the form, and after that, you will be able to download the SDK. Once you have it downloaded, the SDK, you will be able to install it in your computer. Once you have installed in your computer, you will see about 14 folders here. There's a lot of folders. What you have been, or what you have seen highlighted is the one that we want to focus. We want to focus in the Android card, in the PC.NET card, and the PC card. On the right side is how you can access the API documentation. So basically, you go to our Zebra developer portal, go to develop API documentation, and from API documentation, you will be able to go to the lino-os multi-platform SDK, and we have built just two sections, one for label and receipt printers, and another section for card printing APIs. In the card printing APIs, you will be able to access the online documentation for the PC Java Card SDK, Android card, and the PC card.NET. Once you have been there, you can click on one of those, and you will be able to see the index page. And from there, you will be able to go or browser all of the classes that our SDK has. On the right side, you will be able to go to those links with the basic things that you need to use in order to start developing with our SDKs. Okay, let's go in detail with each one. So let's go to the first one with the C# version. This is a completely new SDK, but it's designed based on the same architecture that Java version. One of the most important thing here, and for all developers, this SDK doesn't have backward compatibility with the previous C++ versions. One of the nice things about this new SDK is we implemented the multi-threading portion on it, so you can control multiple printers at the same time. And also, we create an independent sample code for smart encoding through USB for this first version. The most important feature of the SDK is this is a driverless solution, so you don't require a driver to implement a full project with this SDK. On the right side, you see basically all of the libraries that you will be needing in order to run your project. Okay, what you find in our folders. So when you go to the PC.NET folder, you will find 5 different folders. The first one on the left side, demos. In demos, you will have access to the sample code for the SDK in C#. Also, you have a folder for the documentation, design documentation that you have access through the developer portal. You will have another folder for the libraries, design libraries that you saw on the previous slide. And also, you have 2 ways to do it. To start your project, you can bring your libraries from that folder to your project, to the root of your project, or you can pull those from NuGet. On the left side of the bottom, you will see how you can call the project from NuGet. So just you call Zebra.printer.card, and that will be the way that you can find the SDK in NuGet. Just you pull that libraries from NuGet, and you will be able to run your project in Visual Studio right away. And the last folder, the next 2 folder, Print Station Card, is basically another utility tool that you will be able to use with the new SDKs and with the new printers. And with that basically is based to use templates. The function, a very faster way to implement projects with our printers through templates. So we have provided a way that you can use the utility tool to have an idea and to use it, and for doing that. The latest portion of the folder is the SmartCard folder. The SmartCard folder is basically the where we provide the sample code for your implementation with the SmartCards. Let's move now to Android. In Android, basically, we have similar offering that we are doing with the C#. Basically, we are providing Wi-Fi network connection and Bluetooth connectivity. Also, we are providing a print station card utility with this, and but for USB, we are also providing the connection through USB on the go. So you can connect the printer to USB on the go if you use the right cable for that. What you will find, so the same thing, a folder for demos, where you see on the right side, a folder for documentation, a folder for the libraries that you need to put in your project, and another folder for print station card. For the print station card, basically you see here a screenshot where you can do the same thing that you have access through zip chart. But important part here that I want to point is you will be for templates, you need to have two different things. One is a template file, and the other thing is the image that goes there. So how that works, basically, the template will pull the image and send everything together to the printer. Okay, let's move now to Java Card SDK. The Java Card SDK, the one that was released last month, on May 11, is the version 2.14. The version 2.14 basically adds the support for the new series printers, CC100, CC300, and CC350. And anything of the other previous printer was not modified, but was not tested. So you will be able maybe to work with the other printers, but at this point only we suggest to work with the new one, CC100, CC300, and CC350. How that works, basically here we have create a Zebra card printer interface. For that we have basically 2 objects. The object for Zebra printer motif that controls that you see on the right, CSP, CSP9, CSP7, and the new printers. And CSP, Zebra printer CSP that controls basically the legacy printers, CSP1 and CSP3. The main features basically no change based on the latest version of the SDK that was 2.13. So you will have the same features. Basically, what we are adding is just the support for the new printer. Important thing about Java Card SDK is, in addition that you can work on 3 environments for development, you can run your application in those 3 environments. So you can run your application in Mac, you can run your application in Windows, and you can run your application in Linux too. Okay, now here in this slide has a very nice feature that we have added to our latest printers, and we have added new ribbons. So the nice thing about the new ribbons is that we have built the tools the way that you can, in the same way that you see here on the left, The same way you can build those layers on your code. So on your basically on the bottom part of this, you will see how it's easy to build a layer. So in this particular case, the new layer here for silver resin, you are building the silver resin layer here, and you can pull that from print type, and you will be able to see all of the ribbons from print type. And from there, you can see how you can build your layer here. So you are building your graphic, where the graphic goes, is in front of the back, and what is the ribbon that you're using for this. Once that have been built, you will send that to the printer. So the array list that you were sending is the whole data built on those layers. So this is a very nice feature that we are providing to you guys. Use the best way. Okay, let's go now to more details. The important thing to have here for connection, the first thing that you need to do is with the printer is connection and identify the card printer objects. So the same thing for connection, we have two methods, the TCP and USB. And for card printer objects, you will be identify two basic objects, the C-motif printer and CSP printer. When you do the connection is through interface mode, so you use a interface to do either TCP or USB. Also, you use an interface to select the right object, so it could be Zebra Printer C-motif or Zebra Printer CSP. Also, you have a constructor class that basically is the Zebra Card Printer Factory that will put all of the features of the printer into your application. To identify what is the library or package that you need to choose for communication, you need to go to zebra.sdk.com for the communication portion on it. And for the card printers object, you need to go to zebra.sdk.common card printer. Let's move now to the most important part of the SDK that controls basically the job operations and the device operations. On the left side, you see basically what are the classes that we have developed for this. So we have a job utility class, job control provider, and device utility class. On the right side, basically, is what the most important thing we do with those classes. You can position card with that, you can print with that with your utility. You can get the job status of the job. So there are two status that you can do. You can get a status from the job printing, and also on the bottom of the slide, you can see device utility. And with device utility, what you are getting is the status of the printer. So if the printer's getting an error, you will get that status with that class. Let's move to the next one. So the other important portion of the SDK, how you can manage the image object here. So we can see how you can do that. On the left side, basically all of the methods that you can use, and you can drive text, line, image, ellipse, rectangle, etc. And also you can do corrections. So you can do brightness, contrast, gamma, saturation, color. You can do image conversion. You can do you can manipulate the image. And also you have additional methods to render or to do fonts. Now, for the last portion, it's important that we want to highlight here is the SmartCard overview. So for the SmartCard overview, you will have two things that you need to control here. So one thing will be the position portion and the SmartCard portion. For the position portion, you have four different settings that you can use. So card destination, card source, and what type of card you are using. So even is a card contact or contactless. You have enumerations on the bottom, and also it's important to determine that what kind of card are you using. So you're using an internal card or external card. I'm gonna explain that a little later. Okay, the last portion that we want to highlight for the new feature of the SDK is how we are managing the templates. So for the template, basically, we are managing the templates through XML skeleton. And basically, what you need to do is on the left, you see here on the left, is basically what is the data that you want to send to the printer. For this particular example, we are just selecting this use case. You want to magnetic encode and you want to dual side printing. So you see what you want to print on the front side, what you want to encode on the back side, and what are the instructions that you want to send to the printer. On the right side, basically, you see the skeleton on XML, And how you can do that, the first portion of the XML on top will tell you basically that what kind of card are you using, the thickness of the card, and also the instruction where you want to put the source of the card and where you want to send the destination of the card. Then you can start to build the layers, and also you define the first portion of it for the front side, and after that you define what goes on the back side of the card. And the latest part is also how you are controlling or how you are encoding the data. For this particular use case, it's magnetic encoding, so it's just doing in this way. Okay, just to do a quick summarize here before to move to the next portion of the presentation. So with the Card SDK, what you can do. So the application will use the SDK to build and send a job document to the printer. After that, the printer will assign a job ID to control the job document and send that job ID to the SDK. SDK pass the job ID to the application, and the application will be tracks the job status using job ID and get job status. Basically, here's how that works. Okay, now I'm gonna move to the very exciting thing that also we include with the new CC300 printers. We call this this new concept is Zebra Interface Packet. Into the printers, basically on the left side, you see basically a hardware component that we added to the printer. And what we have done there is basically allow two manufacturers to work with us with different third-party smart cards. In this particular case, the first one that we have been using is the Elatec smart card. So I'm gonna go in detail with that later, but basically it's important to understand what we have done and how we are planning to work with the new CC300 printers in the future. One important thing is either any smart card is using our design USB hub. So whatever is Elatec or what other smart card manufacturers will be working with us in the future, they will be using our USB hub if they decided to put the microchip into our zip pocket. Okay, how the smart card works. So on the left side, you see basically the smart card diagram, and where basically where we are located, the developer. The developer is basically the outside layer. Developer will be calling the Zebra smart card library. It's basically the sample code that we have built for you guys. You will be able to see that when you download the SDK. The Zebra smart card sample code that we have will call the Win Card API. That's basically the Windows library, and from there you will be able to call the Elatec driver. The Elatec driver will be the driver that will be controlling directly the smart card driver. Okay, how the smart card, now I am focused basically in Elatec. So now I'm moving just to focus on Elatec smart card that we have put in our new CC300 printers. So the smart card reader, basically when you install the driver, you will be able to see on the right side, 6 different USB endpoints. It's important to highlight just basically, we don't know why Elatec does in this way, but what we wanna highlight is how we work with them. So the first one is basically how you can use to send and receive APDU commands, and to read and support the smart card encoding. With the slat5 is basically how you can use to define as your smart card will be working in high or low frequency. Okay, how you can use the sample code. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is install the driver. You need to install the driver, otherwise the sample code will not work. So when you install the driver, as you see on the top, the Elatec driver, you will see basically the version that we are using right now with our release, the latest release, or the release that we did in May. It says the 3.11 for the Elatec driver. So once you have installed that correctly, you will be able to run the sample code, and that's the way that you can see the sample, the smart card developer demo. I'm gonna try to do just, let's see if I can do it. So basically here, well, I have my printer next to me, and I wanna do a just short demo just to see how that works. So I'm gonna just run a test for this one, and I'm gonna choose the right printer. So I have an ultralight. So I'm gonna run the test. and basically the smart card passed the test. So the sample code will help you guys to do basically simple work with that. We have built those libraries so you can use our sample code to encode the smart card with that. So let's move to the next slide. How that works. So remember, with our SDK, you need to do two things. You need to set position and define the type of the smart card. So what you will be doing is with the SDK, the first thing that you need to do is define where you want to put the printer or where you want to put the card in order to start to work. So in this particular case, we say that we want to put the card in the feeder, and also the other decision that you need to make is basically what is you want to print or no. It's a standard best practice that developers normally do the encoding first and printing after. So we don't say don't do it in the other way, but it's a standard practice that developers do in this particular way. So if you don't decide to print, you just go to define the set job destination to edit, and from there you will define what type of card are you using. Are you using contact or contactless? Is it contactless? Is a high frequency or low frequency? Then from there, when you have defined those two things, you can go to start to do the smart card job. So the smart card job basically works in this way. It's a little complex. Just to explain it here on the right side, you can see basically what are the most complex projects that process of the encoding that the car will be doing with the driver and the encoder. But I'm going to explain the quick how the sequence works. So when you in this particular case, we are working with contactless card. So the first thing that you need to do and you need to set up is it is high frequency or low frequency. You need to do that with the Elatec encoder. You need to set up it is a low frequency or low frequency. So that's the reason, because we point those two things here. When you do that, you start to connect to the smart card. Then you do the card authentication. This card authentication is how that works on the left side, on the right side, sorry. Then you start to do the process with the commands APDUs. That's basically the protocol that used to communicate between the driver, the reader, and the smart card. And to the end, basically, you will define basically you need to turn off also is you turn on the high frequency and also or the low frequency. You need to turn off that, and then you will need to go to resume your job to the end. And from there, if you want to print, you're going to go to print, define internal, and from there you will define job destination to edit and start to print. Finally, the card will be ejected. So with that, it's just a very the smart card is a little more needs a little more work. We are planning to have a little more blocks to explain in detail how those things work, but the time today is very short just to explain in detail more how the smart card process works. So now I'm gonna go through the sample code. So for the sample code, we want to go first defining what we call the best practices. And for this particular case, I'm going to go just to define a use simple case. Is the use case that I'm going to decide to do in this particular case is how to print a single side of the card. And for that particular use case, that's the workflow. The first thing that you need to do is open a connection to the card. So you depends what you're using, USB or Ethernet. You can do that directly, or you can use our discovery classes to do that automatically. You can after that you will do a check printer of the status, so you will verify if the printer is available, has an error, doesn't have media, etc. Then you will be you can do this the tier stage here. You can do it before or after. So when you want to create the printable data. So you will be using your driving methods I explained before, and you will creating your bitmaps. So when those things are ready, you are ready to build and send the job to the printers. So you will include the bitmaps to the Zebra Card printer class, send the job to the printer, and control the status of the job to get a completion or failure of the job. When that process has been finished, you can close the connection, or we recommend to close the connection. So, okay, so let's explain in detail how those things work. let's see for open connection what you need. So in this particular case, I'm gonna just work with the TCP connection class. So I'm gonna open my interface with TCP connection. Connection is open. We verify the connection have been success. So you will get a true value. So when that have happened, you can move to the next stage. The next stage is check the printer status. For the check printer status, basically you will be using the device utility class and printer status info. From there, you will be able to get those status using the Zebra card printer through the card printer factory connection. And from there, you will be able to pull all of the status from the printer. Okay, now for the next thing that you need to do is create your printable data. For the printable data, basically on the right side, I have it just highlight the other one of the new ribbons that we have launched with our new Jaguar printer. In this particular case, we have the color chip turn ribbon. This completely new feature, new ribbon that you can take advantage of this, increasing your possibilities to use our Jaguar printers in very nice projects and security projects, because with the idea with this is you are getting with the you are getting all of the power of the CSP7 and CSP9 with one CC300. So you can build very powerful applications using our new CC300 printers. So coming back to the slide here, you see on the top what are the classes that you need to use to build the graphic. So you need to use Zebra graphics to build the graphic. You initialize your graphic. Then you set up your fonts. What kind of font are you using to use for your test? And after that, you build the by data. And from there, you will build your image doing through draw image, and you will save that to image data. And after that, you will be able to capture that that image on with the array list of graphic info, like we show on the right side. From there, you will be able to build each layer of the what we are using here for and the ribbon to build your card. So you will define what you want to put in your overlay layer, what you want to put in your color layer, and what you want to put in your per lesson layer. Okay, let's do the last portion of this. We want to track the job. So we want to the previous one, yes, we want to track the job. See here. So we want to define basically where we want to put the card and where we want to get the card to the end. So we want to define the source. In this case, it's the feeder, and we want to define the card destination. That will be the jet portion of this. So you send those two job settings to the generic printer. So the generic printer will be able to identify where to take the card and where to put the card to the when the job have been finished. You can define how many copies you want to do. So from this particular case here, when you just use generic printer print, is when you're sending the print job to the printer. So you're sending graphic data and you're sending how many copies of that you want to print. Okay, so the last portion of this is just monitoring the status of the job. So basically you will get a status of the job through the job status using job status info. And there are the different status that you will get. And you can get an alert, you can get error, and you can get printing status. We will see those status later in a little more detail. So here, basically, they are the status printing that you will be getting. So you will be getting, for a status, you can receive okay, you can receive error, you can see receive in progress, done okay, etc. For magnetic status, you will get encoding, verifying, reading, etc. For contact status, you will be receiving those status, an station encoding, contact error. For contact less status, you will be receiving the same kind of error for contact. When when your print job have been finished, like you see on the right, just you get your card from the printer completely finished, you will need to close the connection to avoid issues with the print job later. Okay, we have finished explaining how the workflow for a simple use case you can implement, how to use the, so now I'm gonna go is how you can use the demo sample code to do it. Or how you can, or in other words, where you can find the code for copy paste in your projects. So now we want to review those things here. So that's basically the way that you will see in our sample code for Android, for Java, and for C#. We have keeping the same architecture and the same use cases. You will be getting almost 7 use cases into the sample code. You will be able to do graphic conversion, magnetic encoding, multi-job control. You can do a simple print, single side or backside printing. You can get printer status. You can set settings. You can send and receive some settings from the printer, and you can do a smart card positioning. You can use the template portion of the demo. So all of those use cases, you can work with the sample code. Now, here is basically how those sample code looks into the IDEs for each one. For Android Studio, we recommend to use Android Studio 3.1. That's basically what the one that we use to build the SDK. For Java, we use Oxygen, basically for building the latest SDK. In my case, I'm using Neon yet, so that's back compatibility, so you don't have any problem for that. And we are also using Java 1.8 to do that. For Visual Studio 2.7, so we are using Visual Studio, and basically here how that looks. And the important thing here is we are using .NET Framework 4.7 to build the sample code. Okay, let's go to the important things that you need to take care is you go to take the information or take the code from the from Android. So when you need to focus in two things here. You go to Discovery. In Discovery you will find basically all of the classes and that you need to use if you want to implement Discovery. But for the simple purpose of this presentation, I just want to focus on the manual connection tags. For the manual connection tags, you will be able to just add the IP address of your printer, and that's on the right side is basically the snapshot of that code, what you need to do. So you just basically call the class TCP connection. From the connection, you will get in the connection TCP address. You will be open the connection, and from there, it's important to highlight here that the new SDK is not supporting the CSP 1 and 3. So be careful with that. Is not supporting 1 of 3. So we are building specifically in the code a way to avoid to call the model. Why we are doing this? Because when you're using our discovery class, the discovery class will take care of the printers that are supported. But when you are calling the IP address directly, you don't know, the SDK don't know what IP address are you calling. So they needs to do a double verification to do that. Okay, so for all of the sample code, our developers use basically separate the implementation for the view portion on it and for the code implementation. So Android allow us to do that very easily. So you know that all of the design view portion of it is done with the layouts, and all of the implementation is done with the Java classes. So it's how that works here. So in this particular case, I'm gonna be focused on because our SDK covered too many use cases. I'm gonna focus basically in the one most important for this particular presentation is the printing portion on it. So with the printing portion on it, you need to go to the print on the left side. Just go to the print folder. And from the print folder, you will be able to go to the print job demo activity. From the print demo activity is basically what you're seeing here with your layout showing up. And from there, when you push the print button, basically what you will find is this snapshot of the Android portion. So what you're doing here is calling the same print job task, and who will be doing all of the printing portion on it. So in the demo activity portion, it's just doing all of the image creation, how are you using the creation, and how you are putting the layers to be executed on with the same print job tags. So when you have done that, just basically the same print job tags is executing, and it will be done in the background. So the same print job task will be doing in the background. We'll be building, so we'll be creating the connection here again. Is open the connection, is calling the instance of the connection with Java Card Printer Factory. And from there, you will be doing all of your internal process, building the layers. From there, you will defining where you wanna set up the card source portion on it, where you wanna put the printer for source and for destination. And after that, you will be using your ID to capture the status, but at the same time, you are sending the print job to the printer. Basically, you are sending the print job to the printer here. All of this is done in the background. So our recommendation of best practice is when you're doing the printing portion on it in Android, do it in the background. Okay, moving now to explain how we build the Java SDK as sample code. So we want to define the same thing, the same concept that you saw for Android, just separating all of the view portion on it and the implementation portion on it. So you see here a Java class diagram, and we are just trying to separate all of the view. So everything that you see with the extension demo, print demo, setting demo, all of that is all of the classes that we have to build the windows. Then, if you want to take the code for copy paste, you need to focus is on the model code and the model implementation. So what you see here is also the same thing, class diagram for the Java code. From there, you will see all of the classes are extended to the printer model. So all of the use cases that you saw previously, what I point you previously, are all of them extending the class printer model. Okay, just focus again through the use case that we wanna just highlight here. For the print demo will be just using the portion of the implementation. Also, we have the print demo doing all of the class, all of the windows, and also we have a print job option that is manipulating all of the options of the card printer. Okay, how that works? So you go to print demo class will show up, or the print demo instance will show up this window, and from the window you will see the button on the bottom for print. When you push print button, that is the snap code that is calling from that portion, and from there you will be calling the printer model. The printer model will be sending the print job to print, as we explained before. The status test area is basically the information that you need to send to control in real time the status of the printer. So here again is going to the printer model, how you are sending the print job to the printer using your ID. And so you are capturing this, so you will get the job ID, it's a number from the Great Zebra card printer print, so that will return even an integer, and from there you will know, depending on the integer, what is the status of the printer at that moment. What you're doing after that is send the job ID to the poll job status worker, and that will be controlling your status during the process, during the printer process. So here, basically, what the poll job status worker class is doing is just basically the implementation, what you're doing to monitor the job status. That's basically what you're seeing during the implementation, during the job status work. And that's all that I have for today. Just a reminder that in addition to card printers, that is all the portfolio we produce. We have industrial printer, we have desktop printers, mobile printer, card printers, mobile computer. We have RFID readers, and also software and in development tools to do all of the work for you guys. Just thinking in mind that kind of things. And now I'm gonna open the webinar for questions.
Okay, so far we don't have any questions posted there yet, but if you have anything that you'd like to ask the team, please do so now, and we'd be happy to answer that for you. We'll just give it a minute here. Okay, so it sounds like it was a thorough presentation. Thanks, Manuel and team, for all of this today. We hope everybody enjoyed this presentation and got a lot out of it. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Manuel?
No, yes, I wanna say thank
we do have.
to the team, to all of the team here, to Mike, to James, and to Wayne for all of the hard work that you did to build this happen. So thank you guys. I think
One
that
moment,
recognition is
Manuel.
important for you guys. Yes.
We just got a last minute question here.
Okay,
And
good.
the
Go ahead.
person did ask, Juan, can the ZC300 encode HID class?
Wayne.
Yes, it can. No, it cannot encode it. It can read the HID class. We do not encode right now.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. Anyone else? Okay, with that, we're going to wrap.
One more question. One more thing that I want to highlight. I didn't point that before. For the Elatec driver, we will be releasing maybe in the coming 2 weeks. We'll be releasing all of the three slides that I did was a summarize the completely guidelines for developers to do the SmartCard encoding with our SDK. So we'll be releasing a PDF document for that, and also we will be posting the driver for Elatec and where you find the SDK, the new SDK. So where you go to the SDK, after you fill it out the form, you will be able to see the Elatec driver there. So it's just I want to point those two things.
Okay, great. Thanks, Manuel. So for any types of additional questions, information, blogs, anything of that type, please go to developer.zebra.com and we'd be happy to address those. Don't forget to sign up for our next Dev Talk in June, Securing Your Device. Thanks so much, team. Thanks for everybody attending. Have a great day, everybody.